ya?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm so good. You got your cute background in the back. I love it.
Yeah, there's a kid back there too.
Awesome. Well, I love your kiddos too. And in fact, I love this because honestly, when I told everybody, holy cow, Sammy just did her 30-day challenge, her 60-day challenge in just 2 weeks. I said, what question should I ask her? I'm going to interview her tomorrow. Most of the questions were like, does she have kids? Like, no way. Because I understand maybe if she's single, maybe she's got nothing else to do in her life. She could spend every waking hour on the computer. But my guess is that's not your life, right?
No, that's not my life. I do have two kids. I have a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old.
Busy, right?
Yes.
I love it. Well, let's go ahead and share your story. So when did you come into my world?
So about a year ago, I decided I was done. I was a public school teacher, and I had decided that I was done, and I started looking up alternatives. And I think that's when I first started seeing your ads. And at first, I just kind of ignored it, and I went through and I started private tutoring. And then I started seeing your ads more and more. I guess it just kind of knew. And so at the beginning of the 7-day challenge that you started in October, I said, what the heck? Why not? And I signed up for it. So that's kind of how I ended up here.
That's awesome. So about a year ago, you were a public school teacher. Did you put in your resignation? When did you leave the district?
So it's kind of a long story, but I ended up taking FMLA for health reasons in March, and they didn't renew my contract after that. And I was like, okay, well, I guess we're going to figure something else out. And
Right.
so for a while, I just lived off of my money that I had for the summer. And then I tried to get tutoring to pick up, and then I found this and hoping that this is what works out.
Oh, that's awesome. But let me ask you this. Would you have wanted to go back to the district knowing all that you know now about the district going on right now?
No, I had been wanting to leave for a while. I just hadn't found a way out yet.
Yeah. And thank heavens that way was almost forced upon you,
Yeah.
Difficult at the time, though. I'm sure that must have been a very difficult thing whenever that was like, yep, this is what's going to go on. It's like, oh, crap, now what, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like the decision was made for me, but I was probably going to make that decision for myself.
Sure. Yeah, I get that. All right, so you were thinking you'd love to leave the district at some point. You need something better for your life. And then as far as your education and experience, I know you said you did some tutoring, but what about your experience with preschool? Do you have any ECE degree? Have you taught preschool before in the classroom setting?
Not really. I was substituted for a while, and I did a couple of days here and there in preschool. And then my degree is in teaching English as a second language, so I am certified preschool through 12th grade to teach English as a second language. But mostly I worked with elementary and middle school.
Gotcha. Okay. And so the idea of teaching a preschooler, did that kind of make you a little bit nervous just because most of your experience was in the upper ages?
A little bit. It is a lot different. It's a lot more energetic, but it's a different attitude altogether. But I'd actually considered it because I've thought about homeschooling my son. He'll be in kindergarten next year. And I've thought about homeschooling him. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be cool if we did a pod or something at the house and people paid to come and learn with us? So it already had been in my mind a little bit.
Totally. I love that. And this is what's so cool is anytime we start thinking about the teaching components, well, maybe I could teach preschool, like you said, maybe I could do tutoring, maybe I could do a pod. The ideas just keep flowing. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. So what were some of your biggest pain points when you were, in that moment with the district and thinking I really want to leave, right? Obviously it was forced upon you, but kind of bring us back to some of those days that weren't that good, kind of your lowest points at that time. What did that feel like for you? What was going on in your life at that time?
Just trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be a teacher, but I knew I didn't want to do it in the school district anymore. And I really started wanting to stay home with my kids and be a part of their life more, and trying to find something where you can do from home that makes any kind of money, or that, and leaving a salary job where the pay is guaranteed was also a little nerve-wracking.
Totally. Anyone in the district right now, or anyone who has that full-time income, can relate to, yep, I know what it feels like to leave a salary job. Or the concern and fear that you have to leave a salary job. So I get that. Okay, so definitely wanted to be home with your kiddos, but creating a consistent income and a significant income, right, to replace it. So
Yeah.
what were some things that you had contemplated doing? Obviously, you ended up with some tutoring, but what were some things that were like, well, I could do this or this or this before the tutoring came around?
So I've thought about lots of things, really. I mean, I've considered lots of things that, like, work from home. What are they called? Customer service jobs, things like that. But I'm not really good on the phone.
Yeah.
And just lots. I mean, I've considered everything.
Yeah.
I can't even think of all of them right now. There's just so many.
But like, let's find out, why didn't you move forward with those? I guess that's a good question.
I really love teaching, and I really wanted to do something with teaching. And it's the only thing I've ever felt confident about that I was good at. And that's the reason I stayed so long in the school district. I was there for 6 years. I knew after the first year I didn't want to be a teacher anymore in the school district, but I stayed because I liked teaching. I just didn't like doing it for other people.
100%. Yeah. So I think that's what a lot of people feel, is they feel their hands are tied, right? And like, you want to teach a certain way, you can't. You know how kids are going to learn best. You can't do that. You're forced to hit those requirements, those state testing, forced to do that curriculum. So I get that.
The paperwork is crazy.
Paperwork, right? And I think too, like, you realized when you evaluate all the other opportunities that could provide some income, right? And who knows if it's real significant income, but at the end of the day, that's just a job. I mean, it's your passion that you want to keep teaching, right? That's why you're like, nope, if I could do something with teaching, it will make my education, my experience all worthwhile. It won't have been for naught.
Definitely. And I mean, something with teaching is definitely what I knew I wanted. And starting the preschool, it just sounded fun and lighthearted. And, it wasn't something that was, oh, you have to do all this to go along with it. And
yeah. So. That's cool. Okay. So then you came back around. So you've been following me for about a year, and you saw that 7-day challenge. You're like, all right. Was tutoring working out before then? I mean, were you making a full-time income with tutoring, or were you kind of struggling with tutoring?
No, I'm kind of struggling with tutoring. I've been doing it for about a year, but really focused on marketing, things like that, for about 6 months. And I've just found that people really aren't into it right now. Especially if you're doing online tutoring. And I have a small home, so I didn't want to bring people into my home. And I live in a very rural area where education isn't necessarily top of the people's minds. So it just really wasn't working out for me.
Totally. I get that. So you weren't creating that consistent income. So you saw an opportunity. Hey, what about online preschool? You jumped into the 7-day challenge. Tell us about your experience with that. Were you, did you have any concerns going through the challenge? Were you scared a bit? Did you get any students? All that good stuff.
Oh yeah. I'm an introvert. So putting myself out there was very hard. I know you messaged me and was like, you need to start tagging people. And I'd message you back, I don't want to. And I did, but it was the hardest thing. It's a little bit easier. It's getting a little bit easier as I'm still doing the fundraising script, but man, that was a hard thing for me to do. So I put my founding family script out there, and I was really nervous about it. And at first I was like, well, this is just kind of an idea for me. And then that little assignment came up, and I was like, well, why not just put November 1st on it? What's stopping me? So I put November 1st on it, and a couple hours later I had a sign up. And I was like, okay, well, I guess we're starting November 1st. So yeah, and I did get one student off of that, and I've been marketing like crazy, trying to get more flyers and everything else. So, but we're going to start with one student next week. So
I love that. I mean, it made it real. It made you commit. It held you accountable. You're going to show up for that one student regardless and get some experience. I love that. Okay, so you did your founding family. Now, we opened the doors to All-Stars, preschool All-Stars, but you had your one student. You could have gone and you just taught your one student. Like you said, you'd done some tutoring. So why did you feel like you should join Preschool All-Stars at that time?
Well, when I started tutoring, I worked with somebody who was supposed to be a coach and helping me get there. And I joined a program. I'm sorry, my kids are loud. I joined a program and I got no results. So a few months later, I joined another program. I got no results. And I got results with this. and it impressed me. And I was like, wow, this is really what I should be doing. That I can follow what Joy says and get a student, then maybe this is something I need to try.
Yeah, I love that. And I think too, like a lot of people have talked about, when you go into coaching programs or you sign up for something and the hype is super big at the beginning while they're trying to sell you, but then like afterwards, it's like crickets. I mean, did you find that too with other people? It was like, hey, buy, this is gonna be so great. And then you bought and you're just like, but wait, now what? Right?
Yep. And the people are not supportive. That was another thing. Just the support that I felt even before I joined. The people in the other groups that I've tried are not like that. And they're not as supportive or willing to help out, or, just the congratulations is even enough when you get your student. Like, they're excited for you genuinely, or at least it feels that way. So
no, we are. We're like over the moon, man. I mean, we're like boxing our team, like your guys' success stories. I love it. Okay, so you jumped right into Preschool All-Stars. You hit the ground running. We have something called our 30-day challenge that takes everybody for the very first 30 days through the very first 3 sections of Preschool in a Box. It helps you set up your business, set up your preschool classroom, set up your social media, your class times, your tuition rates. I mean, like the hardest stuff that people ever have to do, we walk you through it for 30 days. Now, typically, I'm gonna be straight up, typically it takes pretty close to 30 days for somebody to do this. Now you hit the ground running and you immediately did something we call the 1K in 1 day script. Tell everybody your experience with that. Just kind of like, when you put that out there, were you a little bit less nervous to tag people, and what were the results?
No, I was not less nervous to tag people. It was still really strange for me. I'm not really active on Facebook. Never really have been. And a lot of those people I haven't talked to since high school. So it was just kind of weird for me. So I put that out there and I was like, whatever, I'm going to do it because it worked the first time. So we're going to try it again. And at first I didn't get any response. And then the people I didn't even know were putting money into it. So that was pretty awesome. I think it was like a friend of my sister or something was the first person to donate. And I was like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
And it didn't really get any easier. And I've never done a fundraiser before. And I'd never asked anybody. I don't like asking people for help, but it seemed like it was a good idea. And at first, I just had the one person, and then someone else donated, and then today someone else donated. So I'm up to $120, which is really awesome. And I'm still tagging people and sharing it out there and asking people for help and letting people know about it. And I'm trying to post on my Facebook every day, letting people know, what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So yeah.
That's awesome. I actually remember after I learned that you did your 2 weeks, we'll talk about that in a second, like you completing your 30-day and 60-day challenges in 2 weeks. I like private messaged you. I was like, I got to interview. But then I was like, also, I saw you only at that time, it was literally yesterday. I said, you've only made $55 in your 1K in 1 day script. I'm going to go take a look at that, because that just feels a little off to me. Like typically we'll make more. And so I looked at your script last night and I said, hold up, go do these things right now, because you posted a couple weeks ago, like right when you began. I think it was like on the 13th or 15th or something. So we're a good, can't do the math, barely 2 weeks later. But it had died. Your fundraiser had basically died. Like you got your $55 originally, right? And then like nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I had done something wrong at first. I think I made a post instead of posting in the fundraiser, which it was all just really confusing, to be honest. It's all new territory for me. Yeah. So I'm still learning everything about Facebook. It was like, well, I've been on Facebook for a long time and here are things I've never done. So
right. Totally. So I gave you a couple tips. So for anybody listening, if you've got a 1K in 1 day script currently going on, right, or in the future, whatever, here's the tips that you need to pay attention to. And this is what allowed her, which the fundraiser had died. There was just $55 in there. It hadn't done anything for at least over a week. And I'm pretty sure you kind of thought that's all you'd get, right? Did you kind of stop posting all about it? Kind of just let it go? Okay.
I felt like we're bugging people.
Yeah. And I get that. So you feel like, oh, that's all I ever made. Well, that was kind of fun. I made $55. I said, no. Let's revamp it up. So you can keep it going for 30 days. You can go for 60 days if you want, but let's at least go for 30. And these are the tips that I want everybody to implement right now, because of what we talked about, you were able to get another donation. So it went from 55 yesterday to 120 today. So you doubled. So these are the tips. It was go into the fundraiser itself. Okay, so the actual fundraiser you created, and there's places for posts, like you would create an actual post in there as if it was your own Facebook feed or wall or whatever, but like post inside the Facebook fundraiser itself, every single day, document your journey. Oh my gosh, I just went to Dollar Tree, picked up these super cute things. Oh, I just made my wall. Oh, I'm creating my curriculum. You can do a picture of our preschool in a box. You can, oh, I just found this craft that I can't wait to do during preschool. So you're just documenting your journey once a day as a post on your fundraiser. Now, here's the kicker. Most people will never see in that because it's kind of like one step inside. It's kind of like, I got to open up a door to see inside of it. So what you do every day is you share that inside of the Facebook fundraiser, you share that post to your personal profile. So then every day, people that follow you, your friends, family, whoever, are now seeing that every day. And they're like reminded, oh, she's still doing that thing. I still haven't. Oh, okay, I'll donate. She's clearly still doing it, right? And then they see how much you've been donated to. So if your goal is 1,500 and you've only had $55, it kind of like incentivizes people to say, I can help out, let me help her get to her goal. She's kind of like toward the beginning. Let me help her get a little closer. So they feel good. Now, the other thing too, is I told you to tag 50 people every single day. Like, even if you've already tagged them again, like at least 50 people every day inside that fundraiser, just because you got to get more eyeballs on it. So did you do those tips? It seems like you did. And that's how you got the results, right?
Yeah, I did. And I think that the person who donated this morning was somebody that had tagged yesterday. So
perfect. Nice. See, that's what happens when you take action, you get results. I love it. Good job. Okay. So we just talked about that great tip for 1K in one day. Now, have you tried to create businesses in the past? I know you were a school teacher, but have you ever tried to create like a business from scratch before, a DBA, an EIN, an LLC, all that stuff?
Yes. So with the tutoring, I tried to create a tutoring business, and I did not create an LLC with it, but I did do a DBA with it. And yeah.
So how was that process? I mean, was it like, oh, let me just like search up, my state and like how to get legal in my state with the business? I mean, was it easy before you found me?
No, it was not easy, and it was a nightmare. It took me forever to figure everything out and try to learn what I had to do. And I might have given up a couple of times and gone back to it.
Yeah. It's one of those, like, you give up, you're like, I don't really need this, and then you go get some money with your tutoring, but you're like, I should probably get legit, like,
yeah, exactly.
Okay. So you had a little bit of experience, but obviously a lot of frustration. It had taken you a lot of time to do it on your own. Here you come back around to do this with the preschool business. So you started the 30-day challenge. You started right away, and we'll talk about how you manage your time in just a little bit, but what were the things that you accomplished in that 30-day challenge? I mean, you went through it pretty quick. So what were some of the things that you were able to do to, all the things you had to do in the 30-day challenge?
Yeah, I mean, I did everything. So I created an LLC and got my EIN number, which was pretty exciting. So now I can put my tutoring business under that, which I didn't even know I could do before. Yeah. Gosh, and there was so much more. That's the biggest thing that I can think of, but getting everything together and organized was very helpful. Setting up my wall back here, and just putting my tuition prices together. That was definitely something else. And yeah, I can't even think right now.
It was a lot. I mean, even if I was going to like name it all, like there was your Facebook group, there was your, business email, there was your domain, there was your Google Workspace, Google My Business. I mean, it's a lot, right? There's like a lot of like getting professional, because that's the way we always teach you. The more professional you can present yourself, the more you're going to be able to charge those premium rates when you add value. But the more people will build that know, like, trust factor too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did you feel like coming into this business, you felt more secure in putting yourself out there versus when you were trying to market yourself as the tutoring business?
Definitely. And the steps really helped me as well to know, okay, this is what I need to do first. Whereas the last time I did this, it was just all up in the air, and I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know what Google My Business was. I didn't know how to set that up. And, it's not like I remembered either because I did it a year ago, but having all of that all in one place to tell me how to do it and walk me through it was very helpful.
Yeah. I think a lot of times when we're trying to do it on our own, we're like, okay, I think I remember somewhere something maybe I probably should do is I should get a domain. Like I probably need a website somewhere. So you go squirrel off there and you go figure that out for, weeks or months. And then you're like, oh crap, I can't, how do I take payments? Right. Then you go squirrel over here trying to figure out like a business bank account and how to get people's money and you go marketing. I mean, it's just everywhere, right? You're just run around crazy.
It's very hectic and unorganized if you don't
Yeah.
have someone showing you the way, that's for sure.
Right. Okay, cool. So you did the 30-day challenge. What did you love most about that 30-day challenge, even though, like I said, it didn't take you 30 days, but with Preschool All-Stars, like what did you love most about it that you felt, oh my gosh, because of this is why I was able to get a quick result with Preschool All-Stars as well?
Definitely just how organized everything was and how it built upon each other. It wasn't just someone throwing some random information out like, oh, you should do this and maybe you should try that. It was, no, you're going to do this, 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 and this. And it was all put, I function with organization. So
Right.
that was very helpful for me.
Totally. So then you finished your 30-day challenge. How long did that actually take you? Do you remember? Because you joined on, Monday, October 11th. Do you remember how long it took you to do that 30-day challenge? Was it like a couple days, 1 week?
It might have been a week. It wasn't very long at all.
Yeah. Okay. Now your LLC is one of the things that most people will get kind of like, they have to kind of pause a little bit on it and keep doing other steps because maybe their government or whatever, their state might take a little second. How were you able to get your LLC done so quickly? Or are you still waiting for the official, letter or something from your state?
It was super easy. So I'm in Kentucky and you can do it all online, which I was super surprised about. It's all done online and you just log in and it was approved in a day and I already have my paperwork. It's all on the portal and you just take it to your county and have them approve it and that's it.
That's awesome. Was that helpful to look at our business guidelines? Remember that big Trello board with your state and like your DBA, your EIN, your LLC, and the links? Was that thing helpful as well?
Yes, I never even looked into an LLC before because it just was very overwhelming and I had no idea where to start. I didn't even know who to call.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, who knows? First step.
Right. No. So if somebody is on the fence about joining Preschool All-Stars and what they would actually be able to accomplish in that 30-day challenge, whether they could actually do it, what would you say to them?
I would say that it's all planned out for you and you can definitely do it. It's step by step. And as long as you follow the steps and read the information, you can definitely do it.
That's awesome. So now you have had your business in the past. Did you try to create a website for your tutoring business as well?
Yes.
Tell me about that. What was your experience like trying to create that from scratch?
Well, at first it was very bad. It was a bad website. I've had a couple of different websites and I've changed it about 3 times in the last year. At first it wasn't very professional at all. I just kind of threw it together. I used Wix and I kind of just threw it together so that I had one. I felt like, okay, I have to have a website so I could give it out to people. And it was very difficult. I didn't know what to put on it. I didn't know how to do the graphics. I didn't know where to put what. And I wasn't very good at getting people's attention with it. And I've redone it several times. And it just was a disaster, really. It took forever. It took me way longer than 2 weeks to get that website together.
Right. And then in the end, you still weren't happy with it, right? Even though you had, take you a long time, you redid it multiple times and you still weren't happy with it.
Exactly. And I'm much more, I still have it. I'm much happier with it now, but it took a lot of work to finally get it to a place where I was like, okay, this is something I could show people.
Right. That's true. And plus you don't really know the words to put on there. Like, what do I write? What images in what order? What's going to actually convert people to want to come to my tutoring, it's the whole marketing and sales component too, that is just not quite frankly, most of us aren't just born with it in our brain, right? I think all of us aren't born with it.
It's easy for me either. I'm not a salesperson. So trying to put all that out there, I'm very wordy too about it. So that was something I had to do over and over again, trying to figure out, okay, what do I want to say? What do I really want to say? So
did you feel like with the tutoring website, it sounds like a little bit of a case of like perfectionism. That's the right word, perfectionism. Trying to turn professionalism into perfectionism. Okay, so perfectionism. Did it sound like, oh man, I just got to keep making it better, better, better. It's never good enough, not ready for the public yet. Were you finding yourself like, because you weren't happy with it, trying to go back to perfect it?
Yes, definitely. A lot. Yeah.
So are you also like a website coder? I mean, the fact of you, like, because I'll be honest, like when I said, we've got this amazing girl, Sammy, that she completed her 30-day, which is setting up your entire preschool business, all your LLC, your legal, your social media, everything, your classroom, like you got that. She did that in like a week. And then apparently just about another week, she set up her website and her hub. Everybody kind of assumed you're pretty techie. I mean, they were like, okay, number one, she doesn't have any kids, obviously, because she has this much time, apparently. It must take so much time. And number two, you must be so techie and so like whiz bang. Oh, I got this, right? So is that you? Like, I know you have 2 kids, so clearly that wasn't right. Are you also like a super coder? You know how to like do all this stuff. You just super techie?
No, that is definitely not me. Yeah, so I get lost just in Facebook. People always assume that I'm good at technology for some reason. I don't know if it's because I was a teacher or what. I don't know. But no, I'm not super techie at all.
Awesome. Okay, so not techie. Now, you started that, you joined the hub. And so when you'd already tried to create your tutoring website, I mean, technically you had a tutoring website. You could have changed some words and it could have become a preschool website overnight. Then why did you join the hub?
Well, lots of reasons. First one is I'm still not convinced that the tutoring website is converting people. I don't know. I still don't really know what to say on it and how to get people to convert. I've had people look at it and it just isn't there for me. And setting it up is not easy. It's not an easy process. And when the way the hub was described and when I looked at the sales page, I was like, okay, well, that sounds a lot easier than what I've done in the past. There's a template. I just need to change some things around. And that's what made me interested in it, because I know that that is not an easy thing to do because I am not very good with technology. So I knew I did not want to start from scratch again because that was a nightmare.
Oh, totally. Okay, so then you jumped into the hub and you had completed your 30-day challenge. You jumped into the hub. You're ready to do your 60-day. Now, I assume you also have Preschool in a Box, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, you loving that so far?
Yes.
Very cool. All right, but let's talk about the hub. So you jump into the 60-day challenge. Tell us about your experience going through that. Like, what did you do? What did you accomplish? What did you love about it?
So I love that it was all step by step. Again, I like organization. That's where I thrive, is with organization. So I just love that it was all step by step. This is what you do, and this is what you do, and this is what you need to do for this step. That was all very helpful. And the videos show you exactly what to do. They walk you through it. I was able to set up emails and set up a members area, which I don't have for my other business at all. Set up a registration page, checkout. It's all in one website. Like, I don't have to have 10 different websites to do everything. I don't have to have an email mailer. I don't have to have a place for people to register. It all comes together in one spot, and that's awesome. And then the template, I just had to change some pictures and some colors. I didn't have to go through and write anything except, change things for my name and the little things that I was like, well, that doesn't really sound like me. Let's change it to make it sound more like me. But other than that, it was the easiest thing.
That's awesome. Would you be willing if we showed the website to people? Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. Awesome. Well, obviously, anybody who is, here with us, if you want to go be taught by an amazing preschool teacher online, you need to go register for Sammy's class. So we're going to show you her website and the domain as well, so that you guys can go register for her class as well. Let me go ahead and share my screen so we can show your beautiful website as well. So I absolutely love this. First off, I love that you change the colors. Sometimes people put in their logo, but then they don't change the colors. So it looks a little bit like, It could have been really cool, but but I mean, changing the colors with your color scheme here just turned it to one next level, right? I love that. So I love how you picked colors. I assume this purple from this little flower here. And of course, you've got your green from the hair and this green from these leaves. And I know later you've got this kind of mauve color for the book. Just so nice. Like it just makes everything come together, and I think you noticed that too when you're doing your 7-day script, right? Your founding family script, like putting these graphics together, they just are essential because you just take the colors and boom, you can change the entire template to match your brand. So this is beautiful. You've got your picture in here. You changed your logo. You changed your picture. You changed obviously your description of who you are, which is perfect. You've got a beautiful testimonial here. And the majority of it, though, is the same. Like, that's the beauty of the template. So tell us now what your thoughts are about the template versus when you had your tutoring website, you didn't know what to put in there. What are your thoughts about the template?
I think it's very detailed, and it was everything that I needed is in there. I didn't have to come up with anything. Talks about the difference between the teaching time and preschool. I mean, everything I could have thought that. I mean, if I were as a parent looking for something, everything that I would have a question about is answered in the template.
That's awesome. And it really is based on marketing principles that you guys don't even need to know, but just know that they're at work, right? That's all you need to know. As long as you know that the things that will, help convert somebody and warm them up and to know, like, and trust you to eventually sign up with you, as long as you know that those are at work, you don't have to understand them all, right? But they need to be on your website. So as we scroll all the way to the bottom, something obviously you put in your class times and tuition rates, which is perfect. The only other thing you really had to do was just link here to your 1-week free trial. So if we come over here and you open up for the free trial, this is beautiful because somebody can say, hey, I'm interested in your preschool now. I'd love to have a free week, right? So they can put in their information here and be able to go through your systems. Tell us about like what you love most about the hub and all the systems of it.
Well, what I love most is that it's all in one place. With everything I've done in the past, I've got about 10 different emails and logins and things I have to remember. And with the hub, it's all in one spot. I don't have to go out of it. I don't have to figure out what login I have for what. It's all there, and it all runs together smoothly. There's no make sure that you send an email to this parent or make sure that you send an email to that parent. It just all happens automatically because it's all in there. So as soon as they register or if they sign up for my free lesson, they get an email. I don't have to worry about sending that.
Totally. It's already done for them. As long as they put in their email, the system just starts working, right? Automations start firing. The emails get sent. Then they can go sign up and register. They can pay. Then they get access to their members area. Then they can get the link for your Zoom classes. Meanwhile, you're just hanging out with your family. So is it truly like set it up once and forget it?
Yes, it really is. You just set it up and then it does everything you need it to do. I mean, unless you want to change something, it's all ready to go.
That's beautiful. Have you been pondering other businesses you might want to add into the hub? Because I know it comes with preschool templates, obviously, right? Everything is done for you preschool, but the hub can do any business. So have you pondered maybe putting in your tutoring business or any other businesses you want to add to it?
Yes, I have. I thought about putting my tutoring business in there. I think my domain license with Wix is up soon. So I've been thinking about putting that into there. And then there are some other things I've thought about starting that I have been planning to use the hub for.
That's awesome. It just opens the possibilities. I love this. Okay, so you completed your hub, you set up your hub, you completed your website. The 60-day challenge was done. Now, was it about a week then, or did you finish it faster than a week?
That one took me a little bit longer. There was a part that I got stuck on that took several days.
What part did you get stuck?
There was something about, I don't remember exactly, but there was some setting I had to fix in Google.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure it out.
So did you try to ask for help? Did you email us? Did you ask the All-Stars? Did you go to Tech Tuesday? Did you jump in an open Zoom room? Or Did you say, I'm just going to do this myself? Or you tried to get help?
Yeah, I tried to get help from Beth, and she kept trying to tell me something to do, and I was really confused about it. But eventually, after I played around with it for a while, I figured out the right setting that I needed to change it to. I couldn't do it again. but I did figure it out.
Perfect. And sometimes it does take a little bit of finessing here and there with the setting. That's awesome. So you're able to get that done in total. 30-day challenge and 60-day challenge should have taken you at most, 90 days, if not shorter, but you did it in 2 weeks. We're so proud of you. If somebody was on the fence about joining Hub, I mean, they're not technical. They don't know how to build a website. They're nervous about, tech and online and all these steps and things like, and a 60-day challenge. Like, what would you tell them if they're on the fence about joining Hub?
If you want to be nervous, continue doing what you're doing. And if you want it to be easy, join the Hub. It was easy and I didn't have to think about it. Other than that one little part that I couldn't figure out with Google, and that was Google's problem, not the Hub's problem. Other than that, it was just seamless.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. I do have a couple questions before we let you go. Our All-Stars had asked a few questions, if I could ask them for you. So one of their biggest questions was, how do you manage your time? I mean, clearly you did this faster than most, faster than all actually, and you do have 2 little kids at home. So what are some time strategies that you've implemented that you found, because I did this, I was able to dedicate time to doing the work?
So one thing I do is I keep a goal planner and I keep a very detailed calendar. It's a lot of work, but I keep a very detailed calendar and a goal planner, and they sit out on my desk, and every day I look at both of them and I put in time. So when my daughter's napping, my son's allowed to have screen time. So that's when I get a lot of work done. When they go to bed, I get a lot of work done, and I just block that into my time. So my daughter's going to nap from 1:30 to 3. During that time, I'm going to get these 5 things done, and they have to get done. And if they don't, then I'm going to stay up late and get them done. And it's just also staying motivated. I, for whatever reason, decided we were starting preschool on November 1st. So I was like, okay, well, I've got to get this mom. I've got to get her ready. I have to get her my members area ready. I have to have a place to show her. I can't just have nothing for her. So that was a big factor as well.
Absolutely. So you put, and I always call it raising the stakes, and you raised the stakes. You said November 1st, but it wasn't just like November 1st, I'll teach this mom. It was November 1st, my Hub will be done. So she'll have a members area. So we can start from day 1 to teach this way that you want to teach, the way you want it to run.
Yeah, I want it all in place. I want it all together. I wanted it all together and prepared for her and anybody else that I might get. I want it to seem like, I want her to feel confident in the decision she made.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, if you hadn't gotten that one student signed up literally just 2 weeks ago, do you think you might have had a different outcome right now? Maybe a less, desire to get it all done on time?
Probably wouldn't have been as motivated to get it all done. I'm not sure that I would be here. I mean, I don't know. We don't know. So I'm not sure I would be here at all. But I'm glad I am. So
yeah. Well, we're so proud of you. Now, let's say that people maybe don't have a student signed up. How do you feel they can raise the stakes? Like, how can they get the same pressure feeling underneath them that they need to complete it, not in 2 weeks' time? Because, I mean, we don't always have to do it in 2 weeks' time. But, what are ways that you feel like can help them to get motivated, right, to set things off? I mean, should they reward themselves with rewards? Should they, should there be consequences? Like, I don't know. Like, how can we help some of our all-stars who are struggling with feeling motivated?
I definitely think that setting goals is very helpful. It's something I did with my students in the classroom, and it's something I do personally. And, there's research out there that, the importance of setting goals. So just setting a goal, I want to have it done by this point in time, no matter what it is. If you want to have it done by the end of the 30 days, or if you want it to be even longer, just setting a goal for yourself when you want it done and saying, okay, this is what I'm going to do to get there.
Yeah. And then I think backtracking. So if that's your goal, then we start backtracking. Okay, well, if we need to be here, then in half the time, where should we be? Right. Yeah. And then a week from before, where should we be? So then we start backtracking those goals. We say, okay, I can do X amount here. And like you said, making the time, blocking it out. That's key. Don't just assume like, okay, well, today sometime I'm going to do X, Y, Z, and all of a sudden the day gets away with you. But you say, nope, this is the time I will do it. And you commit to yourself that it will get done, or you'll do it before you go to bed. That's huge. Yeah. That's I think that's what maybe some people are missing is when we make commitments to ourselves, sometimes it's the easiest ones to break because we didn't tell anybody else, which is also a little bit discouraging for us. So if our all-stars can make that commitment, set the time, block it, even if it's only an hour and a half that day, but then know that at the end of the day, I'm going to feel so good because I will have, kept that commitment to myself. I think that's huge.
Yeah. And just setting non-negotiables, even if it's just one a day, this is what I have to have done before I go to bed today.
Yeah. That's perfect. Did you find that as you went through the 30 and 60-day challenges and the Hub website, did you find that you were focused more on done than perfect? I mean, were you like, well, I could build out a brand new website from scratch, or I could use their template? Like, clearly you chose the template route, but why?
Because, well, lots of reasons. First of all, because doing one from scratch I've done, and it is a nightmare.
Yeah.
And it was easier, and having it done was very important to me. And I do struggle with wanting things to be perfect. That is a thing that I work on, but it's more important to have it there, to have something there to me, and to have it out there so that, I can't get found until I have a website. At least not unless I'm doing a ton of other things. So
that's awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to share to our all-stars? Anything that I haven't covered today?
I don't know. I can't think of anything, but I know that a lot of people did mention, how did you manage it? And the biggest thing is just setting goals for myself.
Yeah.
That's something that I had to learn the hard way when I first started working for myself. And that has been the only thing that keeps me motivated and organized, is setting those goals and sticking to it. And sometimes I might go a couple weeks without doing it, but, I always come back to it. So.
That's awesome. Well, Sammy, we're so proud of you. Our whole team, all of our all-stars, we are cheering you on, and we can't wait to see that next sign up come in for you to write that post. I got the second sign up. So you just keep going and you keep rocking your 1K in 1 day script. We big things are coming down the pike for you. I'm so excited for you. So proud of you, my friend.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. We'll send you back. All righty. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
If you'd like to have a success story just like that one, I invite you to join our Preschool All-Stars. It's my exclusive membership community where you'll get mentorship from me with weekly Q&A lives, support and guidance and friendship from hundreds of women on the exact same journey as you, starting, running, and growing their preschools, and my exclusive access to Preschool University, every training and done-for-you file that you'll need for every milestone on your journey to help you start, run, and grow your preschool. We've all been there, and we've got the exact same steps that you need to go through, but we do it all very quickly so that you don't have to waste time or money doing the wrong things at the wrong time. We'd love for you to join our Preschool All-Stars membership. Just go to preschoolallstars.com or click the link in the description to immediately jump into Preschool All-Stars. Again, go to preschoolallstars.com and we'll see you there.